short run through of the planning pathways to planning support that the LGA and the Planning Advisory Service are going to be putting on for the year 2024-2025, and a brief run through of what's going to be kind of on the horizon for you as graduates. So we've done some kind of high-level introductions for everyone on the call, and it's great to hear that people are successfully onboarding at their councils and everyone's kind of getting on and enjoying the start. So what I'm going to kind of cover in this section is an overview of the e-learning package that's been developed, and I know that some of you have kind of already begun to kind of start to make your way through the modules. I'm also going to talk about some bespoke online events that we're going to be putting on for graduates in the coming months, as well as some in-person events that are kind of being worked on behind the scenes, and then the opportunity for kind of any questions anybody has at the moment. So my name's Shelley Rouse. I'm Principal Consultant at the Planning Advisory Service, and I'm joined on the call by Lorraine, who is our Programme Support Officer. So as a kind of introduction to the e-learning package, it's a course entitled An Introduction to Planning as a Career. So it's really kind of geared towards you as graduates. A lot of the terminology is around kind of explaining what the kind of stepping stones are throughout a career in planning. The way to access the course is through a link that gets emailed to you, and that can either be emailed to your council address once you start, or can be delivered to your kind of personal address, so you can start to kind of do it before you begin to onboard. So we estimate that the course probably takes between 5 and 7 hours to complete. So don't do it all at once. I think that would break anyone trying to do 7 hours of e-learning all in one hit. And it's very much designed not to be done in that way. It's designed to kind of take things in a kind of real bite-sized manner, working through the topics. A lot of the topics have activities that you need to do to kind of complement them to advance your learning. So, for example, attending a planning committee, and I know some of you on the call have got your first planning committee coming up in the coming week, so that's going to be a good way to kind of involve your learning and add to it from the course. There is an e-book which accompanies the e-learning module, and it's really, really helpful. I've would advocate kind of either having it downloaded as a document, or if you want to be really old school, and print it off and have that as a kind of accompaniment as you walk your way through the different modules. As I said, you can kind of start to begin to do some of the e-learning before you onboard at a council, kind of at your own pace and on your own time. Once you've done it, you can then go back and refresh it or redo the course completely. So if you want to kind of do some of it now, and then perhaps kind of when you're on the job learning, kind of understanding some of the more terminology, you might want to go back and kind of refresh yourself on some of the earlier parts of the module. So the kind of aims of the e-learning are to essentially kind of provide you with a knowledge and understanding of some of the key concepts and job roles within local authority work in a planning department, but also kind of give you an understanding of some of the practical on-the-day job duties in that kind of early career workplace, and gets you to kind of explore how you would approach different scenarios, what kind of day in the life of different roles might be. And as I said earlier in the call, like the planning system is really complex and it doesn't stay still. Pretty much every week there's an update to legislation, a change in case law, a change in kind of government direction. So there's always stuff to learn. It's always kind of shifting sands of change. So nobody is expecting anyone to kind of within the first 2 months suddenly know everything there is to know about planning and all topic areas and be, you know, conversing fluently in all the kind of terminology and acronyms. I think probably about 3 years in is when I kind of had a good understanding of what all the different acronyms and shortenings had. So it's not designed to kind of fill every knowledge gap and get you to that place, but it's a really good kind of start. So the e-learning module is broken down into kind of 5 topics. So number 1 is about the kind of high level kind of evolution of the planning system and how it's structured. Topic 2 is around local plan preparation or development plans. So those of you on the call that said you've been onboarded into local policy teams. This will kind of be quite familiar to you, particularly if your council is making a local plan. So this is all around kind of local plan production and that policy and strategy element in councils. Topic 3 is around the planning application process. So that's more the kind of development management side of local authority work, and kind of talks you through, how that kind of process gets put together, what the kind of steps involved, but that real kind of planning balance, which I'm sure will become kind of familiar terminology to you. And then topic 4 is around kind of planning in practice. So it very much focuses on kind of potential kind of career paths within planning in local authority work. Can be really varied. I think there's around 7 case studies just around kind of different specialisms that people have kind of branched into, and really focuses on, I suppose, your own kind of personal development plan. So what you want to achieve out of your career, kind of helping kind of set goals and sort of focus on what it is you kind of really want to enjoy. And then topic 5 is around the kind of end result. So seeing stuff built and the kind of implications of decision making, either through policy or casework. What leads to a good decision, what leads to a bad decision, and kind of how your role in that bigger picture kind of fits together. So the format of the course, we've designed it to try and be as sort of interactive as possible. So for each kind of topic area, there is an introductory video that sets out what the kind of core learning themes are for that particular topic. We then kind of go through some break down that module into specific kind of sections. Some of those sections have things like jargon busters or kind of a day in the life of case studies, and that hopefully are kind of quite easy and intuitive to kind of work through in a sequential approach. And then the course has also been CPD accredited. So at the end, you'll get a kind of downloadable certificate, and you'll be able to use that in your kind of journal of professional development training that you get, which is kind of will add to your postgraduate qualification and is a kind of good track record that you'll need to present at the RTPI at kind of future stages. So it's really good that it's accredited, because it means doing it, you're kind of hot off the blocks in racking up your certified professional development hours. So the overview and kind of completing the course, we hope that everyone kind of feels better and has a sort of more general understanding of the planning system, how it's structured, how it's kind of underpinned by different legal acts and parts of statute. Hopefully everyone will kind of understand the basics of development plan making, and again, kind of familiar with the application process, and really kind of give you that, I suppose, initial building blocks of starting a career in planning. So we're hoping that at some point, hopefully before September, everyone will have kind of completed the e-learning, and to kind of supplement that and make that more exciting in terms of kind of building a cohort of yourselves as graduates, we're also going to be putting on some specific online events. So my organisation, the Planning Advisory Service, we put on lots and lots of online and in-person events. Probably, I don't know, if I picked a week in the calendar, it'd probably be about 10 events a week. And those are designed to train planning officers in kind of new and emerging areas. So we're going to put on some bespoke ones kind of just for yourselves as graduates, and as people on board, I think kind of more and more people will join them. And so we're going to start next month by putting on an online session around local elections. I'm sure some of the councils that you work with might have just had local elections. So it's going to be around kind of understanding what goes into putting on a local election, when do they happen, how is it done differently in different councils, and how your job as a planner involves a lot of working with councillors and kind of understanding the kind of necessary skills to enable that kind of political working environment. We're then going to do something on biodiversity net gain, which I'm sure if you've started on at council, you might have heard the 3-letter acronym BNG being bandied about the office. This is a kind of new area emerging of work. It's really quite complicated. It's about habitats, it's about kind of species, environments, and kind of working out systems of holding developers to account to kind of provide new habitats for species. So it's an area of work where everyone kind of across the planning system is trying to get to grips with. So we're going to do a specific one on how you as an early stage career planner, what you need to know and kind of what are the basics. And then around September, when you all start your postgrad qualifications, we're going to have a little talk from some university course directors around kind of what you might expect throughout the course and what's on offer and kind of how it's structured. And we're also going to have some information giving around the Young Planning Officers Society and RTPI Young Planners. So those are existing networks that operate within the profession for early career officers, and kind of how we can link up to that. So how you can kind of access people who might not be on the pathway scheme, but again, might have kind of just started from university within councils and want to kind of connect. And then later on in the year, around November, we're going to have somebody from a house builder come along and talk to you all about kind of the other side of the table. So how developers think about kind of finance processes and engaging with local authorities. And then the more exciting thing, I think, is we're going to do some in-person events. I'm sorry, I don't know why that's come out really small on the slides. Apologies, I have to make that bigger. But for those of you that came to the kind of in-person launch event, I'm sure I certainly saw the kind of benefit of getting everyone together in a room together, and everyone was kind of talking and sharing experiences around kind of which council they were going to, what they were looking forward to doing. And we want to really kind of make opportunities for you all to get together as part of a kind of cohort throughout the year. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be arranging events where we all meet in person kind of every quarter. That's going to be at a council who is taking part in the scheme. And we're going to try and get to different regions of the country. So, for example, some of you on the call are at St Helens. That's all the way up in the northwest. Some of you are in Newcastle, up in the northeast. Some of you are right kind of down in the southwest. Yeah, and some of you are around London and the southeast. So we're kind of all scattered to the four winds. So what we're going to try and do is kind of host these away days in areas where kind of hopefully will be near to an area near you. We're not expecting everyone to come to everyone. That's why we're kind of hoping to kind of host them in locations where it's close enough for you to be able to go. We're going to be talking to the councils that you're working within to let them, well, I suppose notify them that they need to kind of let you go for that day, and hopefully to pay for your train ticket as well, so that you can come to these regional events. And these days are going to be a kind of combination of socialising, going out on a site visit. So hopefully we'll get everyone in high-vis jackets and hard hats, walking around some exciting project that's being built and delivered within that area. So we're hoping in July to go to Barnet, because I think they are one of the councils that's kind of quite central for everyone to get to. And then in October, we're going to be going to kind of Newcastle, and then more dates, I suppose, to be confirmed as people kind of on board and we get councils interested. So I'm going to stop the recording there.